Good morning, everybody. We are starting on time with this morning's live stream because we don't have a whole lot of time today because the Kickstarter, the PrintAQuest Kickstarter, is ending in half an hour. At 8:30, this Kickstarter will be over, and I am super happy and pleased with how it's going. Let's really quickly jump in and take a look at how it's going so far. Let's see. How do I switch buttons? Sorry. I feel like I'm not prepared this morning. It feels like it's too stinking early for a live stream, and I don't blame anybody for not being here. But as of right now, with 30 minutes to go, we are at 500. Me early brain, no can math. $5,915, which is just so close to $6,000. I would be very happy if it crossed $6,000, and if it crosses $6,000, the swamp set will definitely. Well, you know what? Here's the thing. Here's what's probably going to happen, because the swamp set needs. Hey, Valerie Boken, you are indeed first. The swamp set needs a certain number of things to be able to be complete, and it is so close to those things. Let's go down real fast and check this out. So we will have, coming down to the stretch goals that we're talking about, a new enemy mini. That's probably going to be the unusually sized rats or rodents. You get what you get it. Another enemy mini. I'm not sure what that would be. In the swamps, I am considering making them giant spiders, because giant spiders are, gross. But as I understand, there are people who are, like, legitimately turned off by anything that has a spider in it. So part of me is hesitant to add spiders. So sound off in the comments. Let me know what you think about spiders, what you have heard about people with arachnophobia, and whether or not I should reconsider whether or not I'm adding giant spiders to PrintAQuest. And then at 6,000, we will have a new boss, which will be enough to finish the quest. And the new boss in the swamps is going to be a troll, because they are on a quest to get healing magic, and one of the ingredients that they need is troll blood. It's gonna. I like it. I don't know. It seems a little bit gross, but it's like when the story-wise, when the revelation comes that the apprentice is like, okay, I need this troll blood. They're gonna be like, oh, really? Seriously? You're taking the head? Ugh, okay. But it's because trolls have great regenerative capabilities, and they're plant-based. Actually, they're a living plant. They're not. It's not as gross as you think. But what it will not have is 2 new heroes. Now, I want to add the heroes that are actually silhouetted in this one. This guy right here is a Shaolin elf, and this guy right here is a bear wearing samurai armor and convincing everybody that he is a samurai. And the Shaolin elf has learned to speak his language. He doesn't really speak his language because he's speaking bear, but he interprets it, and everybody just assumes, oh, they're from this weird foreign land. So, it's a likely explanation for why it's a little bit funny. But there will be a mission where we will be using both the swamp tiles on the outside and the dungeon tiles to make a dungeon that the bear is being kept in. And so you have to go in and rescue the bear from the outside, but you can also sneak around the outside. I don't know. Okay, here are some possibilities for the swamp tiles. We could add tiles that are like water or something and impede movement in some way. From a gameplay perspective, I think that would be fun. Hey, Steven, thanks for stopping by. I think water tiles that impede movement in some way, that maybe take 2 AP to cross through, I think would be a very interesting thing to add to the game. But also for this mission where you're rescuing this dude, do we want to think about adding stealth to the game? Like where monsters facing actually matters as to whether or not they will detect that the players are there or not. And, if that's the case, how would that play out, and would that be fun to play with? I think that there are some possibilities here, but is that too much to add to a single campaign? Or do we want to have the process of rescuing the samurai, the bear, just be break in, rescue, get out? I think the way that the mole rat or the spool rats have been written so far, it feels to me a little bit more like just break in and get out is more their style. So I don't know. We'll see about that. We'll discuss that going forward. I do want to point out, though, this campaign is going to be able to accept late pledges until the end of the month, which effectively extends this campaign till the end of the month. So we have the end of the month to raise these funds. But if it doesn't make it to $7,000, technically I should not be giving you guys the rewards for this. However, if I just add these 2 characters, I can write all of the quests for all of the swamp, and I can just put it in your hands, guys, and just have it out and have it ready to go so I can keep going with the rest of what I want to do. So I may just make the executive call right now that regardless of what this campaign raises, we will go up through the end of the swamp and just get that to you guys. We got more than halfway. Guys. We can do this. I can just make that call. I love tough terrain. Excuse me, I suggested that once, and it seemed a bit tough to accomplish, but with more thought, I thought it could be good. The stealth option, I mean. So tough terrain, you're like, yes, that's great. Stealth, you're like, maybe. It's kind of where I am, too. I think it would be trivial to add just watery tiles. Now, one thing that I'm considering, the floor tiles. I don't know if you've seen the floor tiles. I can't wait to get. I have been working to package up the. Sorry, one thing when doing these live streams is sometimes I go back over it and I try to put timestamps in certain places for things that I talk about. But I'm so all over the place. I don't often have an outline for these videos. I'm just kind of going off the cuff. And as a result, I'm so all over the place that it makes it difficult to say, we're timestamping here and now we're talking about this and we're timestamping here. They just bleed into each other so much. But such is the nature of live streaming. Okay, let's talk about the dungeon tiles. I have been working and will continue to work today on packaging up the original, the ruins tiles is what I'm calling them, which are suitable for making, ruins and stuff like that. Places where you can explore. And so I have been, do you guys want to see that? Oh, you are getting put on Do Not Disturb. Sorry, guys, I apologize. Who was that? Who? Facebook. Freaking Facebook. Oh, every time. All right. Let's see. Nolan Create. Hello. Stealth can work, but does it extend facing as a combat factor, i.e. Necromunda and Vision Arc affects it certain aspects? I am not going to do stealth in the swamp. I think I've just made that executive decision. See, this is why I can't timestamp, because I start talking about something and then we go back and talk about something else. Life. I've decided we're not going to do stealth in the swamp. We might do stealth in the future. However, I want to get these sets into your hands so that you guys can start playing with them, so that you guys can start to be a part of the playtesting group and say, hey, we had this idea for a thing. Here's how we implemented it. And then we can all evaluate that and go, does that add too much complexity? Because the thing about PrintAQuest, the way that I have written the rules, let's really quickly pull up the rules for PrintAQuest. And the rules I have linked to multiple times. They're on Google Docs. I am making them on Google Docs. It is an admittedly weird choice. You ever try to walk quietly through a swamp? Yeah, walking quietly. You can walk quietly through a swamp. Here's the thing. Number one, you're noisy. Your feet are Sorry, mouth noises. Some people are bothered by that. But you can walk, you are noisy going through a swamp, but so is everything else. Swamps are not quiet. So I think you can get away with it. Printed the sample set and assembled and was very impressed. Thank you, Nolan Create. The sample set is out there, people. If you are not sure yet whether or not this is going to be a good idea, if you think it's going to take too long, had somebody in the comment section. Let me jump to that real fast. I wanted to address that. Again, timestamps, man. My future self is like, what are you doing, man? Somebody on the campaign left a comment. Here we go. And they said, which slide, thank you for sliding in at the last minute. David says, how long does it take to print enough material for a sample room or the stuff for the first quest? And the answer to that is I am breaking them up so that each quest is just a couple more prints on top of the previous quest. However, depending on the speed of your printer, it could take you a day or two to do all the prints that you need for that. I just solved that by having more printers. But the walls seem very thick and tall. I wonder if it's possible to resize them to print them smaller and thinner. Now, smaller, that's easy. PrintAQuest's walls are of multiple sizes. Some of them, yes, are very tall, sitting at about 3 blocks. 3 times 16 is, I can't math like that in my head right now. But yes, those are very tall, and some of them are very wide and very tall. I don't know if I have one of them here that's very wide and very tall, but there are others that are shorter. And I made these shorter ones not because I wanted the aesthetic, although also for that, but I made these shorter ones because it was difficult to reach your finger in a tall one and actually play with the thing. So those were made for access more than anything else. So a majority of the walls in the game are actually shorter. But my answer was yes, the print-a-block system is more chunky than other systems. And I'm not going to pretend that that was a design choice and that somehow it's superior to other systems because it's so much chunkier and stuff like that. That wasn't the reason why they're so chunky, okay? Had I designed this like other systems, I would have made these floor tiles, at least, much, much thinner and connected them with thinner connectors. But I'm using the print-a-block system, so they have to be 16 millimeters tall. That's just the print-a-block way. Now, this does enable them to conform to a grid a little bit better, so that is, slightly advantageous. But I'm not going to pretend like, oh, yes, no, this was my plan all along. No, my plan was I created print-a-blocks. I'm using print-a-blocks for these. However, the advantage, as I said in the thing, is that you could potentially use the floors as a wall. There's nothing stopping you from doing that. Plus, they're compatible with other print-a-block systems. I don't know how you would use spaceship parts in your builds, but you could, or use these in your spaceship prints. I don't know. Somebody might figure something out with these. It's possible. So yeah, that's the idea there. But yeah, making these like thin and economical and breakable was not my goal. These are thick, these are chunky, these are print-a-blocks, and that's just the system. That's the way it is. Sorry about that. Not sorry, but it's the way it is. Let's look at some comments. Got the sample and just finished the whole set finally for full play testing. Been nonstop for the past 2 weeks. Steven is actually on my beta testing group, and he's been doing some great things and helping me develop this a lot more than I've had time for. It takes a lot of time to make this set. In fact, I've been looking at how much time it takes to make a full set. The swamp is going to take me, it's going to take me some time to do. There's creating all of the terrain sets, and that is going to take a week. There is creating 3 new minis, the 2 monsters and the boss, and those are going to take 2 to 3 days a piece. And then there's the 2 hero minis that I've committed to doing anyways, and that's going to take another 2 or 3 days. Then there's the assembling of the quests in Blender, in the virtual space. In fact, I can show you I'm doing that right now. Check this out. I'm assembling the sets for the Ruins sets. And what I do is I build them virtually in Blender with all the individual pieces. And then over here, I have a list of all the individual pieces that I use. And then I take those and I put them in a spreadsheet so I know how many that there are. And then I take those and I compare them to the previous quests to find out what new sets need to be added to the plates. Then I plate them all up. Let me show you the plates for the because I'm still working on the plates for this one. I spent all day yesterday and I only got quest 1 and 2 done. But here, check it out. This is what you guys will be getting. So this is plate number 1. Okay. And then plate number 2, which has all of these parts on there. And I separate them by type so that you can print them in different colors if you want. Plate 3 has some of our floor tiles. And unfortunately, I need to constrain these to a 75 by 75 so that they fit on even the smallest 3D printer, the Toy Box 3D printer. This will be available on Toy Box. So that means that the floors had to be broken into 2 plates. You guys can put them both on the same plate on your 3D printer if you have space for it. There's no reason why you couldn't. But I break them up into plates like this because it ensures that they will work better. You know, small prints fail less often. And then there's the walls, and there's 1, 2, 3 wall plates. And then there's the doors and the chests. This is the first one to introduce chests, and we only introduced 2 chests in this one. And then the last one, the last one is just the gold that goes inside the chest. But those are a bunch of small and simple prints that are easy to queue up. And then you guys will get the individual parts, but you saw how much printing that was for Quest 2, but that included the printing for Quest 1, which is another, how many did I have here? Pulling it up here. 7 plates. Doors, walls, more walls, more walls, floors, and blocks, and then the 6 zombies for this one. So that's this process of plating them all up, putting them in nice organized ways. I wish that there was a faster, more organized way to do this. But oh boy, yeah, it is a long process. I will say I'm pretty proud of the work I did on these zomboys. I wanted to do an update featuring the zomboys, but I had so much. I felt like I could have updated this Kickstarter every day and I would have had something to talk about. But good morning, lost packets. Let's see. Literally back this while my first 3D printer is on back order. It just seemed like exactly what I wanted to start 3D printing in the first place. Thank you, Mark. Mark, I hope that, because there are, man, I appreciate you so much being willing to back this because there are so many people making minis and terrains and stuff like that for 3D printing. It warms my heart that you are actually trusting me with this one. I hope I don't let you down. I think it's going to be awesome. Steven says it took me 2 days on my Bamboo A1 Mini to print everything. And yes, he was printing the full set as full as I had. I'm replating them all so that we can have fuller sets as well. Feels good in hand, like getting quality. It does. It is like the box of prints here. I have an entire box right here. This is a full set, and it fits inside a filament box, which is, I think, I mean, it was the goal. That was the goal, is to fill up a filament box, but no more than that, and have everything in there. And yeah, it's about 1 kilogram. It's weighty. It feels good. Steampunk. That is completely random, John B. But I agree. I would absolutely love to have. I think that when we get to the tavern, I will be incorporating elements of steampunk into the walls and designs and stuff like that. It will be a steampunk tavern. I don't know why. It just will be. Use lightning infill to speed up prints. Yes. One problem is that printer blocks invade into the space a lot. You see these holes, they're invading halfway into the space, meaning there isn't a lot of empty space inside a print block. So you don't actually get a lot of infill, especially if you increase your walls to 3 like recommended. So the infill on this really doesn't matter that much. Infill and printer blocks fill out the space enough that they don't take to infill very much. There are some that are more like that, but yeah, Yeah, but lightning infill is a thing. But plates per quest is awesome. Will make campaign building out so much easier and to track and print. But that does mean the way that I'm plating it means that I gotta test the heck out of these before I send them to you. Like I have to print a full set myself and assemble each quest and make sure that I have everything for the quest. Then I might as well play it while it's assembled and then print the next one. Excuse me. So I essentially have to do everything that you guys are going to do with the plates. And then I do have some trusted beta testers who I will probably send them to and say, hey guys, could you do this as well? I'm also going to probably be doing this on the toy box because this will be on toy box, and that'll be a whole nother set on a toy box 3D printer. What am I going to do with all these sets? I'm going to play with them. That's what I'm going to do. Mark, did you order the Century Carbon? I'm curious. I've been wanting to get the Century Carbon just because it's an economy 3D printer that a lot of people are excited about, but I don't know. It seems like a good printer. It seems like it's fine. It's exciting to me that we are getting next-gen quality at that price. I mean, we technically, I guess we have next-gen quality at that price with the Bamboo A1 Mini, but it doesn't have the size and it doesn't have the Core XY movement system. I don't know. I'm excited about. It's a race to the bottom, but it's a good race to the bottom. Let's see. Other comments. Watching mode only in a work meeting. Ken, pay attention to your work meeting, man. Or don't. Honestly, I don't. I get in trouble for not paying attention to my work meetings. I'm like, hey, say something that's relevant to me and I will pay attention. I will even comment. I do comment a lot in meetings. If you guys have never been in a meeting with me, but I'm the snarky one. I don't mean to be, but you know, when people say stuff, I gotta make my little snide remarks. Just got mine and I love it. So that's a Lost Package talking about his Century Carbon. I was thinking of mixing the space parts with dungeon parts. Not to get ahead of the whole thing, but there will be a sci-fi aspect in the story of PrintAQuest when we get there. That's all I'm saying for now. Steven says, back this project, keep an eye out for Catherine in game. Yes, Catherine is the latest addition, and I think I made an update about Catherine, although her model has been updated since making that update. Yes, Lost, that's the one I ordered. I heard good things about a bunch of friends. Yeah, so he's got the Century Carbon coming. Let me know. I think you have a good time. Good morning, Scott. When do you think they will be in at the when do you think they will be in at the extruder filament changer? This is a side conversation, but is the Century Carbon going to have filament changing? I don't know. The Kickstarter has 7 minutes left to go. Is now the time to go checking out the Century Carbon? Yeah, why not? It's not like I'm doing it. It's not like the campaign's actually ending. This is the weirdest like non-ending to a campaign because of the extended pledges. I don't know. Does anybody know if this is going to have filament changing at some point? Multicolor printing available in Q3. Okay, they say that they are going to have that. Now, if you want multicolor printing right now, though, I believe the FlashForge Adventure 5X is out now. Yeah, it's in stock. It's $400, but it's got and this machine has become my workhorse. It's a machine that if I have a quick print, I just fire it off. Not because I'm using it for multicolor printing, but because I can load it up with 4 different types of filament. So whatever I need to print, I just hit go, and it, adjusts on the fly and adjusts for it and loads it and goes with it. I like it. So, and it's working. It's out now. They've made some upgrades. They're sending me those upgrades, so I'll be doing a follow-up video. But that would be my recommendation. If you absolutely want to have multicolored 3D printing, get the FlashForge Adventure 5X. It's available now. It works now. You don't have to bet on the future for that one. And it's a good machine. I like it. Oh, you know another thing that I like about the 5X? Check this out. All the filaments on the side. Hey, side-mounted filaments, easy to get at. You don't have to reach around the back of your machine. They're all just right there. I love this thing. It's well designed, it's well done, and it feels like the purging on it is just like just the slightest amount. I mean, it's still purged. It's obviously everything, it's got to purge, but it's just purging. It purges so tight. I don't understand it, but I love it. Waiting on multicolor, gotta walk before I can run. Fair enough. And you know what? Here's the thing. If you start with the Elegoo Century Carbon and you don't upgrade to multicolor with that one, which is fine, then you get a second 3D printer that has multicolor, and now you have 2 3D printers. And life is good. I wish it was available last year when I bought the A1 Mini. That is always the problem, is like, what we have right now is different from what we can expect and stuff like that. Yep, side mount way better. XL, all side mount rules. It is good stuff. I've got this open. We got 4 minutes. Can I vamp for 4 minutes? Of course I can vamp for 4 minutes. I'm a master of the vamp. But, what am I doing over here? Oh yeah, I'm working on this one, making sure that these plates are complete. But this is a lot of spreadsheet stuff, so I'm not going to bore you guys with this right now. I need to work on a forest floor. I need to figure out what a forest floor looks like. Here we go. So I started looking up forest floors. I need to make a texture for the forest floor that will look good, but at the same time will, like the dungeons, print flat enough that your pieces won't wobble on it. And I did this. If you see this texture here, this is just a procedural texture in Blender. It's a couple of layered procedural textures. I kind of love that Blender has that possibility, but I wish it had more. I wish I could do like tons of procedural textures in Blender. I like procedural textures. They make me happy. Ooh. Oh, I like this. I like this a lot. What if the swamp floor tiles look like this? And then I do something different for the water. Maybe drop the water down just a little bit. But I think I found my muse. I think this will work. Unfortunately, this is not a grayscale texture, so I'm going to have to do... I like the little greenery in it. I like the big logs for creating like it almost is. I could almost steal this and just do a displacement map on it, but I need it to be properly tiled. But I like this. Let's see. Paul's Garage asks, have I thought about making this a plugin for Tabletop Simulator? Yes. Yes, I have. 2 things. First of all, I would need to get and learn how to use Tabletop Simulator. Not against it. Absolutely for it. And there's a time constraint on that as well. But number 2, I don't know. And Paul, maybe you know this. I asked this on my Discord. Nobody there used Tabletop Simulator, so maybe you know the answer to this one. But in Tabletop Simulator, is it possible to build the board before playing the board? I don't want people to just load up the board and have the board ready to go and play on it. Yes, the rules are fine for that, but part of the play of PrintAQuest is pulling out, we are on seconds now on the Kickstarter, is pulling out the whole set and handing it to your players and say, hey, let's build it. Hey, look at that. Somebody took us up over 6,000. I don't know which one of you incredibly generous people adjusted your pledge at the last minute to make it exactly 6,000. But thank you. Thank you for that. You didn't have to do that. I promise late pledges would have been fine, but I so much appreciate it. We are at 6,000, guys. We hit it. We nailed it. And we are at 82 seconds to go. Plus whatever delay is on YouTube. So some of you guys are going to chime into the chat before you guys are going to see it on the stream. But going back to Tabletop Simulator before it finishes, I've got less than a minute. Here we go. Paul, can we build the board? Is there some way in the game that we can say drag this piece in and maybe have like a transparent map that they have to build it onto, and have the building of the map be part of the gameplay, and then the playing on the map. I suspect that this will require 2 separate gameplay elements. Once the map is built, we then load in a completed map, and that looks functionally identical but has some underlying information to it that makes it playable, as opposed to the building sequence. But I don't know how Tabletop Simulator goes, and if you do, let me know. We have 23 seconds left to go. So Josh, who I like, there's a 50% chance it was Josh who adjusted his pledge at the last minute. Somebody else got in with a $15 pledge right at the end. Kentucky Kyle Racing says, hey, I've backed most of your projects and have loved every bit. I was wondering if you have thought about doing it. Hey, fireworks! We must have hit 0. Well, there we go, guys. It is funded at $6,015. But like I said, don't let that discourage you. You guys are getting 2 for 1. You guys are getting the ruins, and I will package those up and get those out to you just as soon as possible. Expect that in the next week. And then I will be working on the swamp, and I will get that out to you in a month or 2. Okay, so there will be 2 phases of fulfillment on this one, but then we will be 2 quests deep into PrintAQuest, and at this point, we are well on our way to the full set of PrintAQuest. I'm looking forward to it. I hope you guys are looking forward to it. All right, Kentucky says, hey, I backed most of your projects, loved every bit. I was wondering if you have thought about doing any kind of print-a-block soup box racing kit where we could race print-a-block cars. I don't know what soup box is. Did you mean soapbox? Paul's Garage says, I think there's a way to build it, but I'm not sure about the transparency, though. Yeah, okay, talking about Tabletop Simulator, Burning Gems, awesome, Crowns. We get a bunch of celebrations in the chat. Yeah, I think you meant soapbox racing. I do like that idea. I do like the idea of... I think that if I did that, I would probably fit that into the print-a-block pilots world, where it will have, I have some of them right here, some of these pilots. And this is something that now that I've got a little bit of money to play with, that I'm going to continue working on. But I made these print-a-block pilots, and there are 3 factions for them. There's the Polyforce, a little bit like Power Rangers. There's the Anthromidians, which are animal-based, and green screen's not loving him, but yeah, animal-based races. And then there's the Cyber Barbarians. Let's see if I can get a good angle on Bronan here. And, you know, these fit inside the print-a-blocks, and there's story elements to go along with them. And I have thought that it would be fun if the Cyber Barbarians had like a Car Wars, where they're racing, but they're also smashing the cars together, and they're injuring themselves and each other and stuff like that. I think that would be a lot of fun. I think that there would be a lot of possibilities. More like a Pinewood Derby. Yeah, a Pinewood Derby, though, that like... Yeah. I like the idea, and I definitely want to implement that. I think that would be a lot of fun. So yes, I have thought about it. It is on my to-do list, but right now, today, my to-do list is packaging up PrintAQuest and then working on the swamps. However, I do want to announce right now that my plan going forward for, let's switch over. My plan going forward for producing things with you guys is that from now on, I will be doing a monthly Wednesday morning live stream. The first Wednesday of the month, I will be doing a live stream. And during that live stream, I will be modeling things that you guys want me to model. You guys get to call the shots on what I will be working on. I have a bunch of old projects that I need to get around to, and I need to work on. And I figure having a monthly live stream where I am focused on, during this time I am making for you guys, will help that. Which, to that end, I should probably stop chatting and start doing some modeling. So why don't we do that? Although, maybe what I want to do, like I said, I wanted to... How do I make a procedural stick texture? I don't even know how to do that. Steven says, we will be at LFG Con in Burbank, California this Saturday, showing off level 1.4 or 1-4 of PrintAQuest if anybody wants to come and play. That is the most fun and most replayable level on PrintAQuest. You guys should check it out. Lady Asalot says, hello. Dreams Void says, woo. And Stephen From says, message retracted. Oh, you're not going to be there? Oh, well, I read it before you retracted it, buddy. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. I am a terrible human being. All right. I'm going to use Photoshop. You guys might go, Joe, you have Photoshop? I got it when I was in college, and I'm still using CS6. I refuse to upgrade. Alrighty, let's make some sticks. I'm all in for any instructional content. And yeah, it's partially instructional, but it's partially just, you know, I'm a-working. Alright, so I'm going to start. One thing that I have, I don't know if you guys are aware, but I have a Wacom tablet. How did I get a Wacom tablet? I won it in a contest for 3D printing. But it is an invaluable tool, I think. Let's see. So we don't want opacity. We don't want flow. We want the... What is this? We want the thickness to be... So let's see how this works. Oh, I still got my fancy brush on. Oh, shoot. How do I save these brush settings? Shoot. Well, I just need a regular brush right now. Okay, good. I had made a fancy brush for doing some... Yeah, it works. All right. So we're going to make some sticks, and I'm going to go back to my reference image. Let's see. Dreams Void says, I am a terribly handsome human being. You are lying, but I appreciate it. It's very nice of you. Kentucky Cow Racing says, I was just looking. Is there any way for us to pay to be a part of the beta testing group? I would love to print out any ideas you have and get feedback when warranted. Kentucky, most of my feedback group I have found and recruited via Discord. So if you join my Discord at discord.3dpprofessor.com, you are more likely to be able to do that. So do that. Ugh. One thing, okay, so Wacom tablets have this pressure sensitivity thing where the harder you press, the bigger, you can set it to do different things based on that. But right now I'm setting it so that the harder you press, both the opacity goes up and the thickness of your line goes up. But the reason being is because these ends, when I do it like this, do you see how this end is white but very thin? That's not what I want. I want it to kind of like taper down on there. So I'm trying to get it so that the opacity tapers off when the size of it tapers off like this. But unfortunately, I don't like how that's turning out. All right, let's just do it. See, I don't like that. That's the problem. It's joining up in the middle and it's becoming... I can fix that though. I can fix that after. So let me just do that. I'm drawing sticks today, guys. I can fix that in levels. I'm going too much in one direction. All right. CS6 still gets the job. I mean, they can't take CS6 away from me. Whoops. So, what just happened here, guys? You guys might not have been paying attention, but I was going to take the Wacom tablet and hold it in my hand and draw like this because it's more effective that way, right? But for one thing, I have mounted the camera on my Wacom tablet. So I picked up the camera with everything else. I clearly need to upgrade my rig if I'm going to be doing this. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that. My goodness, guys, I'm sorry. Jeez. What a dum-dum. What an RK maroon. Alrighty. Like that. Yeah, that's better. Let's see. No, going to be there just had a typo erase. I hate typos. We should be able to edit, but I understand why we can't edit. You know what I should do? Oh my goodness, I just had a funny thought. What if I spelled something in these? Okay, hold on for a second. S-E... Wait, no, not that. What I ought to do is I ought to make this out of like the top backers' names and just build them into it. You know, it's going to be cut off and stuff like that. So, good morning, 3D Medic Vince. Hey, apologies. Actually, today, though, I got to say, today's live stream is going to be cut short. In fact, I'm probably going to end it in just a couple of minutes because I need to go to the doctor's. I have a doctor's appointment this morning. I just said it yesterday. I didn't know that I was going to have it. Last time we talked, I was talking about my old man pains, and I'm suffering from plantar fasciitis and stuff like that. And my wife was like, call the doctor. I'm like, I've got an appointment in a month. She's like, you're in pain today and yesterday and the day before. Call the doctor. Tell him that you're in pain and make him see you. So I called him, and the doctor, who, I was like, is there any other doctor that I can see? Obviously, I can't see my regular doctor because that's, he doesn't have an opening for a month. And she's like, he has an opening tomorrow. Why didn't you tell me that the first time? So I am going to the doctor's today to get the next step in my plantar fasciitis treatment taken care of. Am I excited about this? I'm excited to be in less pain, but it means that this live stream is going to have to be cut a little bit short. And I will see you guys at the beginning of next month on a Wednesday, but I will be doing quite a lot of this stuff in the meanwhile. I wonder if I can do 2 layers of this and make one layer just slightly lower than the other. Yeah, this is going to be a lot. Again, though, I wish that I could do this procedurally. I wish that there was some way that I could use procedural textures and just do a lightning pattern. I shouldn't have to draw this all by hand. Then again, I can work names into it, so maybe I will do that as well. You silly goose. Thank you, Dread Void. Glad she's looking out for you. Honestly, I believe it was the spirit prompting her to tell me to do that, because why did he have an open up all of a sudden? I don't believe that he was like, let's make him suffer for a while and see if he's serious, and if he calls us back, we'll do something about it. I think more likely what happened was somebody canceled, and my wife was just in tune enough to the spirit to say, take care of this. So what I want to show you guys, maybe a moment of education. Do you see how I'm drawing these? And they're these, they're grayscale. So they kind of get darker as they hit the edges. But I want them to be like rounded like sticks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up the layers menu. And you see here it's saying some of it is really dark. And then some of it is kind of middle grade. And then what do we do? Well, what we do here is we pull up the bottom here. And now everything that's like this part or higher is now white. So now we've changed the peak of the white. And then we slide this like this to try to, and actually I might do this to kind of cut off the edge, and then do it like this to kind of curve it down to the edge. So by playing with the levels curve, I think I'm going to be able to turn this into sticks. So you can correct. So remember what I was saying? I was like, oh, they're not round enough, and I'm trying to get the smoothing and stuff like that. This is how you fix that, is in the levels curve like this. Now, I'm always a really bad judge of how grayscale translates to depth, but I think this is going to work. And I think that if I do this a couple of times, but we've got a lot of nice white sections now for the pawns to be supported on. So I think this is the way. My wife reaches a point, Scott says, my wife reaches a point that she's tired of me whining and makes the appointment for me and then just tells me to go. I would be dead without her. Gentlemen, let's face facts. Humanity would not survive very long without the women in our lives. And I'm happy for it. There must be something with filter, render, cloud. Maybe. And the other thing is, I wonder if, like, okay, let's go back to Blender real fast. And let me pull up. All right, I'm going to really quickly pull up a grid. We've only got a couple of minutes. I do need to get ready for this doctor's appointment, but I'm having too much fun with you guys. My doctor complains. Whatever. Shouldn't have told me he didn't have an opening. Okay, we're going to take this and we're going to add a modifier, and we're going to add a displace modifier. And we're going to create a new texture, and then we're going to go down into the textures menu. Now, one thing I wonder, I've just recently discovered that sometimes there are settings that aren't really made obvious. Like with some things in Blender, you can check use nodes, but I don't see that here. So let's go to clouds, right? Let's open up the preview. This is what that looks like. And if we zoom in, why am I not seeing any clouds on here? We're going to call this sticks because that's the goal. And that way I know that I'm displacing the right thing. But it is not going. There we go. Just had to set the UV coordinates properly. So there we got our clouds. I mean, that's a nice lumpy texture, but this isn't what I'm going for. Is there a way? Texture node editor. Son of a bucket. Wait, how do I? This is texture, right? Okay, I need to pull up a tutorial and figure out how to use the texture node editor because there's clearly something that I'm missing. Voronoi is a fun one. This is the one that you basically use and it makes it look like a rock. And you have lots of different Voronoi, measurements here. I love this one. I mean, I don't know what I'd do with this one, but I want to figure out something like that. What I would do with this one, though, is I would change the strength to a -5, and now, look at that. Nice little crystally texture. I have no idea what to do with it, but it's beautiful. I think every man in this chat is going to, at some point, have to admit that they would be dead without the women in their lives. This is the way. So yeah, we've got these settings, but if I could have do I need to just switch it over to image texture? No. How do I? Well, none is not the way. I don't wood is okay, but it only goes this direction. If I could turn it and layer it, there's so much more that I could do with it. If I could have different heights added together. How do I use the node editor with this one? I don't understand. Okay, that's going to be my goal for today or another day, is looking up the node editor and learning how to use that. See, guys, I don't know everything. I have to learn too. Just how? It says texture node editor. I am in the texture menu. Why am I not editing the texture with my node editor? I don't understand. Blender, man. You know, when people complain that Blender is hard to use, they're not wrong. I'm not going to argue with anybody who believes that Blender is... I like this. This one's fun. But like... Oh, that sucks. This is not the way. No. But yeah, I got to figure this out. I know there's a way. Okay, we'll figure this out later. Oh, please tell me that it's not material. Are you going to tell me it's material? Are you telling me I can't use displace? Okay, I'm going to do some Googling. I'm going to do some chatting. I'm going to figure that out. I will be dead because of the women in my life, I'm sure. Okay. Men, there is a reason why the bear won that argument. You got a crazy woman in your life, you will have no end of troubles, no question. Your stuff will be broken. Your relationships will be rocky, but you will live. When they have a crazy man in their life, it's a very different discussion. We will survive the crazy women in our life. Don't be the crazy men in theirs. Be as sane and reasonable as possible. Find Jesus, because you going to need him. Trust me. Blender is a lot like programming these days. One screen for the program, one for search. Yeah, well, no doubt. I mean, Blender has all of these different menus, and they all do a different thing. Yeah. Unquestionably. They have a programming menu. It has a scripting stuff. Like, it's powerful. But the other thing that I like about Blender is that you can reconfigure it on the fly and make it look exactly the way that you want for whatever you want to do. I've got my homework, but I've also got a doctor's appointment, guys. I have to go. Your worldly possessions will be thrown in the trash. Yes, they absolutely will. I'm not denying that. You don't need them to survive, man. You need your ingenuity and your wits, and she can't take that away from you. So don't take that away from you. My wife keeps me alive. My daughter, especially a 3-year-old, might kill me. Fair. No, fair. This is like watching Picasso painting. When he was a 6-year-old. Come on, let's be honest here. I am not amazing. This is not amazing. I have no idea what I'm doing. How come I can't get this window to work with that text? All right, I'm going to figure it out, but I got to go, guys. I want to thank you very much. I want to thank everybody. Actually, let's check in one more time. Well, there's nothing to check in on. The Kickstarter's done. 281 of you guys brought this to life, and we at the last minute raised an additional $65 on top of whoever adjusted their pledge to bring it up to exactly $6,000. Thank you, all of you crazy people. You are wonderful. You guys here, you guys know that you are the bobblehead brigade. I should get your pictures and make bobbleheads out of you and put you on the shelf so that I can just thank you every once in a while for your contributions. You guys are great. I'm hoping that we will be discussing the future of PrintAQuest in a future update or a future live stream. I have more planned. This is just the beginning. This is literally kickstarting this project, guys. We are going to continue to explore the world of PrintAQuest, explore the stories that can be told with it. And you guys will be a part of that, as you have been and as you will continue to be. So I want to thank you guys very much for watching. I want to remind you that you are a child of a loving Heavenly Father. He cares about you. I care about you. Take care of yourself and do your best to take care of others, because we all need each other. I'm going to see you guys next time. I'm off to go have a doctor poke me in the foot. Bye.